Many thanks to MagTech Ammunition, the sponsor of today's active self-protection lesson. It's the only ammo I put through my rifles or pistols at the range.
What I will do at that point in time is I will add a layer to that suit. I'll add a vest. Okay? So now my closed front cover garment is the vest. And I can wear my same belt, my same carry setup, etc. I've just dressed up a little to do that. Or if I'm going someplace, I'll wear like a sweater vest or, something like that. If it's a little cool outside and I need to dress up, I'll just add a vest to that. And that works great. So now I've got a tucked in, button down, long sleeve dress shirt, a tie, and a vest and slacks instead of just the tucked in shirt. We're currently working on a tuckable version of a holster. There are some out there that work fairly well, some of the new ones, but until just recently, every tuckable holster out there had something like this on the outside of the belt, right? Now that might work for the average Joes, but it's not going to work for us, and it's not going to work for the criminals that we fear the most, right? The hardcore criminals that really know what they're doing, they're going to spot that stuff just as fast as we do, okay? So that's not cool, because those are the guys that we really need to pay attention to, okay? So let's move on into some of the features that make the holsters work. And kind of what I'll start with is holsters that do not have a cantilever to tuck the grip of the gun into the body. Most of the holsters that are out there today have some form of a cantilever that either be a wedge or a claw or a hook or something like that to help the belt tuck the butt of the grip into the body, right? Some of them do not, so I'll talk about that quick, and I'm going to try and go through this fairly quickly because I typically spend quite a bit of time on this in my class. So this is our errand. As you can see, this is a very minimalistic holster. It is as thin as we can make a holster hold a gun. Okay, it's 60 thousandths Kydex, but there's no type of cantilever to tuck the butt of the gun into the body on this. These are built for the single stack 9s and 380s. Think Glock 42, 43, SIG 238, Walther PPS, etc. Glock 48, of course, now. The cool thing about these is they're very easy on-off. They have adjustable ride height and tension here in the clip. And they work without a belt, right? Cool thing, they work without a belt. What we do is we actually take and stipple the edge of the tooth of the clip, right? So what that does is give us a better chance to grab onto the fabric. We have women that carry a shield in yoga pants that work really well. Of course, it works with a belt as well. I typically will carry, it's actually a keeper, but I have that clip on it with the a Beretta PX4 compact carry in sweatpants. Works great. That allows you to carry without a belt. You can just clip it onto sweatpants, ski pants. Craig Douglas and I worked on this holster because we were looking for some way to carry a gun from the car into jiu-jitsu and for jiu-jitsu back to the car, okay? And this is what we come up with. One of my other, most favorite holster, this is one of my favorite holsters ever. It's trash, okay? This, I believe, is the most dangerous holster on the market today, this type of the hybrid holsters. especially when it is carried strong side, because what happens is when you take the gun out of the holster, it collapses. And guess what people do to put the gun back in the holster? Again, inert training tool. I am activating the lasers with my finger on the trigger only to demo the fact that you will muzzle yourself if you do this with the collapsed holster, strong side. How many of you people have seen somebody do this when they're digging the gun into the holster? Yet those same people will say, man, you're going to kill yourself in the streets carrying appendix, right? But they have no problem pointing their gun at themselves this way. I've had a hip replacement and a knee replacement. What I can tell you is those sucked. And I can only imagine what it would be like if you took a cross pelvic shot. In one of my classes last year, I actually had an orthopedic surgeon who had fixed a guy that the exact thing had happened to him. 115 grain, 9mm through this pelvis into this hip bone. Okay? It messed him up badly. The dude almost died. Had he not been like literally 5 minutes from the hospital, he probably wouldn't have lived. Okay? I don't want that to happen. So, favorite holster to trash. I don't know any of them that stay open enough that I would feel comfortable reholstering a gun with this. All right? I just don't. Now, can there be some people out there that make that work? Sure. I know of one guy that's here at the conference that this is the holster he used to carry. I did convert him. But he had a holstering technique that worked. And it involved, similar to what I'll talk about, he would actually take and bow his hips out, right? And then he would come down and tap the holster, move it up a little bit, and then gently slide the gun into the holster, okay? That worked. Very few people do that. And, you know, one of the 4 fundamental rules of firearm safety is don't point the gun at anything you're not willing to destroy, right? That includes yourself. It especially on the line includes me, but specifically includes yourself, right? Okay. The other thing I will say about this, I talked about the holster width. Let's do a little bit of comparison there, okay? The wider this thing is, the less place you're going to be able to put it up front. And the other thing is, especially if you've got a little bit of, dad bod going on, that thing is going to get pushed over the top of the holster. It's going to be very hard to reholster the gun. I have not said it yet, but reholstering the gun is the most dangerous thing you will do with it. All right? No matter where it is on your body. Now let me add something else to that quickly. It's very important. When the gun gets into a properly produced holster that covers the entire trigger guard, the gun is essentially inert. Okay? Now, if it wasn't, if you thought, man, I had a buddy of mine with a Dremel in a garage do a trigger job on my Glock. Warning sign, if you thought that gun might go off in the holster, why on earth would you carry it? Because it doesn't matter if you're carrying appendix or strong side, the gun will point at your body in the holster at some point in time. Think about this. Even if you were carrying outside the waistband, right? Say I had a 4-inch offset holster. Well, guess what? As I move, the gun's going to point at my body. So no matter where you put it on your belt line, it's going to point at your body at some point in time. So the gun needs to be in good enough condition that it would pass any armorer's check, right? Or why on earth would you carry it? I think Farnham said it best, carrying a gun is dangerous, and it is, right? There's always a potential, but any proper functioning, truly well-made, drop-safe, modern handgun should be perfectly fine to carry in a properly designed holster.